Welcome to the new session. In the previous session, we came to know about what is liquid polymer system. Under that, we understood the stereolithography apparatus, its applications, advantages and disadvantages. So, in this session, we are going to know about the discrete particle system. So, this also comes under the classification of AM processors only. So here we are going to know about the selective laser sintering, that is SLS technique, and direct metal laser sintering, that is DMLS technique. With that, we will be knowing about their advantages, disadvantages and applications of this technique. This is also called as powder bed fusion technique also. Let us go into understanding the second classification of additive manufacturing process, that is discrete particle systems. Discrete mainly means separate. Discrete particle systems are normally powders that are generally graded into relatively small size, shape and narrow distribution. Here the particle will be of shapes in a form of spherical, cylindrical or in a tube form also. So the finer the particles, it is better, but there are problems if the dimensions get too small in terms of controlling these particles and distribution of the particles and dispersion of these particles. Under polymer based systems, we use the materials which exhibit thermoplastic behavior so that they can be melted and remelted to permit proper bonding of one layer to another. For this, we find that there are two main polymer based systems commercially available in the market. They are the selective laser sintering technology marketed by 3D Systems company in US and the EOS INT process developed by the German company EOS. Let's go into understanding the discrete particle systems. So as we know, in discrete particle system, we are having two technologies available in the market, that is SLS and EOS INT. Here in this SLS, that is selective laser sintering, which is a powder bed fusion technology. So in PBF based technologies, we see that the thermal energy selectively fuses the region of powder beds. Here we are having two types. One is the selective laser sintering or selective laser melting, called as SLM and SLS, and one more is the direct metal laser sintering, called as DMLS. Conceptual wise, both are same. The main difference is the nature of powder. Both are using the sintering technique itself only. As we know that the selective laser sintering is a laser based rapid prototyping and tooling process, by means of which net shaped parts are fabricated in a single process. Here in this figure we can see the SLS apparatus. So here we are having the powder bed and the fabricated part getting in this powder bed. So the powder is going to be getting layered and getting fused one above the another by using the layers solidifications method. What we get the complete model which is converted from a 3D CAD model. So here the building is also happening from the bottom to top approach. So here we can see complex parts can be produced directly from the 3D CAD models by layer wise solidification of metal powders in the portion of the layers corresponding to cross section of the three-dimensional part in their respective layers. In detail more about this apparatus and this process we will be learning further. Now we will see what are the parts used in case of a selective laser sintering machine. So under the selective laser sintering machine we are having two units. One is a powder delivery system and second one is the building part. So this is the build unit system. In the powder delivery system we are having the powder reservoir. Here the ultra fine powders are going to be stored. To push the powder into the next unit, here what we require a powder delivery piston. So this is hydraulically operated. As the build is going to take place, for that to happen layer by layer, the fabrication piston has to descend down. So for that a fabrication piston is going to be used here. To apply the powder layer by layer on this one, what we require a recoater or we require a roller. So using a roller mechanism, the roller is going to push the extra material from the powder delivery system into the build system, and excess material is going to be again rolled back and deposited back into the powder delivery system. Whole thing is going to happen with the help of a enclosed chamber. For that enclosed chamber has to be filled in a argon gas. So this argon gas is going to be supplied to this chamber, and the source of energy here is the laser. The laser beam is being produced and it is going to be transferred onto the mirrors or the scanning system, where the scanning system is going to do the scanning work and help in sintering of the powder and depositing of the material layer by layer. So here you can see the object getting fabricated, the build direction in the bottom to top and a fabrication piston descending from top to bottom. So this is a schematic diagram of a selective laser sintering process. Now let's know the step-by-step working process of a selective laser sintering machine. The first important step is to feed the CAD file which has been developed on the CAD platform to be transferred into the machine in a STL format. Using this STL file, the building process starts. So the container, that is powder delivery system, is filled with the ultra fine powder particles, and the powder delivery system is going to elevate layer by layer. Next, the SLS process starts to fabricate the part by fusing the powder material with the carbon dioxide laser. Instead of using a liquid, here we are using the powder. So the laser here is going to sinter the particles which has to be solidified. So this is the solid particles. The powder material is going to be spread by the roller. This roller is going to spread the material over the work surface. Here it is shown here. Wherever it is getting rolled and exposed to the laser beam, it is getting solidified. The unfabricated part means the loose powder is next to the fabricated part, and this part is going to act as a support material also. So the powder material is spread by the roller over the work surface, and it is preheated to a temperature slightly lesser than the melting point. Then the laser beam traces the cross section of the powder surface to heat up the powder to a sintered temperature, so that powder scanned by the laser gets bounded, and it is going to create a build part. So here is the laser sintering which is happening. The pre-placed powder is in the green zone. This is called as a green state, and when it is going to be exposed to the laser, so then what happens, it is going to get sintered. So sintered powder particles, that is the brown state. So this is the sintered powder particles. So the laser is going to sinter this one, and it is going to solidify, and the laser beam direction is moving from left to right, you can see it. So unexposed area or unsintered material in the previous layers will be like this, the green part. So one layer over another layer, like this it is going to get deposited. So after completing one layer, the roller spreads another layer of fresh powder. So fresh powder is going to be getting raised by the powder delivery system. Simultaneously, the fabrication piston is going to descend down for the next deposition. So fresh powder over the sintered one. So this is sintered one. So on this one, the fresh powder is going to laid down, and layer building process is going to repeat until the whole of this part is completed. So this is how the parts are getting produced in case of a selective laser sintering process. Let's go through some of the advantages and disadvantages of selective laser sintering. First one, the advantages. Under the advantages, we see that the selective laser sintering has the ability to use variety of materials. The materials which are used for building the products are nylon, polyamides, metals and composites. So variety of materials are being used, and machines have been developed to accommodate these materials. Next, parts produced using selective laser sintering possesses high strength and stiffness, and mainly this depends on type of material which are being used. So here we are able to have functionally graded parts which are getting built using this process, and which are having better strength when compared to other machining processes. No requirement of additional support, as we know that part is supported by non-melted or fused powder, means the unexposed area of the powder is going to remain as it is without getting melted. This powder itself only acts as a support, hence no need of having additional support. Next, fastest additive manufacturing process. Parts produced by this method uses very less time. Here we have found that among its class of additive manufacturing process, the selective laser sintering process is the fastest or consumes less time in producing the parts. Easy post processing. The post processing requirement in case of a selective laser sintering is very minimum. Here we need not have sandblasting and polishing. If required, it is very less because it is already producing a full entity, and moreover we don't have here additional support which has to be removed during this post processing. No post curing. The process itself only is having a curing, that is through laser sintering, which makes the product cured. Hence further additional curing is not needed. So these are some of the advantages of selective laser sintering. Next we will see some of the disadvantages of a SLS process. The first is large physical size of the unit. Here the size of SLA unit is very large because we are using the compartment for storing the powder feeder compartment, then the build compartment, then the collecting compartment for the excess powder. Hence for storage of this powder itself only more space is required. The products which are coming out, if they are of a larger size, then we have to go for a larger unit of this machine. Hence the requirement based production, here we see that large size of units when compared to different type of machining process. High running cost. In SLS process, the power source or a source of power is laser. So the requirement of production of this laser and requirement of laser for sintering the powder is one of the key part. Hence production of energy, that is laser energy, is going to add cost into the production. And as this has to be done in a closed chamber, a requirement of supply of nitrogen gas is needed, because during sintering the oxidization of the metal parts takes place. To avoid that one, it has to be done in a closed chamber. Maintaining a closed chamber and a supply of nitrogen gas is going to add the cost of production. And the laser need not to be exposed to other person, so it has to be protected. So the protection of this machine is one of the key part. So these all includes the machine cost, as well as this is going to increase the running cost of the machine also. And the powder has to be brought in a fine ultra powder sizes. So pre-processing of the powder is also one of the primary requirement of this machine. Hence the running cost of this machine is high when compared to other types of additive manufacturing processes. Abrasive surface finish. As I have told you, the size of the particles are going to play the key part in a part production using SLS. Hence, the surface finish of the parts produced by SLS mainly depends on the size of the particles. If they are finer, then we have a fine finish. If the size of the particles are not ultra fine or little bit larger in size, then we get a abrasive surface finish on the produced parts. Next, generation of toxic gases. The laser is going to do the sintering process. While sintering, the metals do emit toxic gases. So these toxic gases are to be processed, or it has to be passed through some canisters and then liberated outside, otherwise it will be poisonous. So these are some of the disadvantages of a selective laser sintering process. Now we will know some applications of selective laser sintering processes. So till now we know what is the SLA, that is stereolithography apparatus or a process. SLS and SLA technologies are moreover same. Both are using the source as laser. Here in SLS we use the material in a form of a powder. In SLA we use it in a form of a liquid. Moreover, the products what we do or whatever is going to be produced are mainly used for reducing time to market. So this technology helps in reducing the time taken for the product to come into the market. Here we can see the products are also getting used in making models for conceptualization. Under conceptualizations, it helps in giving better presentable products and gives a reality check for the product when it comes to market before totally going into mass production. Then for prototypes, for design analysis and verifying those designs and testing, for that reason also we use these products. Some parts which are very complicated, which cannot be done with a single go in one process, there also we can go for this production of parts using SLS techniques. Parts for prototype tooling and low volume production can be taken care using this technique. Tools for picture and tool design and production of tooling, where we require small components which has to be used for limited edition. There also this laser sintered process, that is selective laser sintering process, helps very much. Additional to this one, polycarbonate patterns which are used in investment casting, these can be made using this selective laser sintering, and they are suitable for designing thin walls and fine features. So you can see one example here, the pattern used using this technique. Next, moreover, this technique is very well suited for manufacturing of dental implants and medical devices. So we can see there are quite a number of applications where selective laser sintering products can be used. Let's know here one more method of additive manufacturing process, which comes under the discrete particle system or the separate particle system, that is the direct metal laser sintering, or popularly known as DMLS technology. The basic principle of a DMLS technology is to melt down thin layers approximately ranging of 20 to 60 microns of metal powders with an electronically driven laser beam powering 200 watts. The important parts of a DMLS machines are the build platform, the powder dispenser unit, the recoater arm, the laser system, precision optics, and a high-speed scanner with a computer processor. Here the metal powder is stored in the dispenser unit. Recoater is used to coat the metal powders of uniform thickness on the steel base plate. So here is a typical schematic diagram for a direct metal laser sintering process. Here we will understand the direct metal laser sintering process. The first step is to prepare the prototype or a model on the build platform. This is the build platform. On this build platform you are going to have a steel plate. The steel plate is mounted to build the part. So a layer of grain size as small as 6 micrometer are spread on this steel plate. Then the laser is going to sinter that particular layer. The build platform moves next down after sintering to by a dimension of 20 micrometer. If we require the powder layer thickness of 20 micron, then the powder need to be as small as that size or smaller than that layer size, because the build quality or build rate of these components and their accuracy depends on the layer thickness and the powder thickness. After sintering the first layer, the recoater is going to move backward towards the dispenser, and the dispenser unit, that is powder dispenser piston, is going to move upward with the making sufficient availability of powder available for the new layer. The recoater will start to move from left to right, and it is going to coat already sintered layer. Next, the laser is going to sinter the second layer, and thus like this it is going to continue until the whole parts get completed. Here you can see the gray area, the sintered part, means the solid part. The brown area is the powder bed. We don't require any support materials for this type of process. So these are the steps which are followed for a direct metal laser sintering machine. Coming to the understanding of the advantages of direct metal laser sintering, we will go through one of their advantages. The advantages of direct metal laser sintering and selective laser sintering (SLS) are one or the same. Here the parts possesses high strength and stiffness. Based on this process, the type of material used are powder, metal powders itself only. So the products which can be built will be having high strength, and these products can be also functionally graded parts also. Next, as we are using the powder itself only for developing the product, so no requirement of additional support. The part is supported by the non-melted or non-fused powder itself only. So additional support material requirement is going to be absent here. fastest manufacturing process. This is one of the fastest among its class because it uses very less time in product development. Ease of post processing. Sandblasting polishing requirement is very minimum for aesthetic look and for inevitable supports to be removed, while designer has purposely added for that we require post processing. Then no post curing or laser sintering does not require any additional curing because it has been already cured during the sintering process. So these are some of the advantages of DMLS technique. Coming to the disadvantages of direct metal laser sintering. The direct metal laser sintering requires large size units. As you have seen, the machine or we require two compartments, one cartridge or one compartment for the powder bed and another for the build platform. So size of DMLS unit is large. Secondly, high running cost. The DMLS system works on a laser, hence high power energy source required here is the laser source for sintering the powder. Here approximately 400 watt power source laser is required for direct metal laser sintering. In addition to this one, the system should be working in a closed chamber and continuous supply of nitrogen gas is required, as the oxidation may be one of the drawback from the product which I have developed if they are exposed to air. So this increases the running cost or the operating cost of this machine, which adds up into the product development. Next, abrasive surface finish. The surface we get on the parts are not fine. This is mainly depends on size of the particle. If a size of the particle is reduced, then we get fine finish, or otherwise we get a coarser finish. So it is the finish will be like the emery paper or the polish paper. Hence little bit of surface grinding may be required at the end of the product. Generation of toxic gases. Here, due to the sintering process, there are chances of generation of toxic gases, as the laser is going to melt the metal, fumes are going to be generated, or at the point of laser coming in contact with the metal powder, it will be arcing. So because of this arcing, there will be some fumes generated. These fumes are toxic, hence need to be evacuated from the machine. So these are the disadvantages of direct metal laser sintering machine. Now let us know some of the applications or where the direct metal laser sintering process can be used. The first and foremost here, as the other DM technology, this DMLS technology also provides methods for reducing products time to market. It helps in conceptualizing the models. Moreover, these are also used in building prototypes for a design, analysis and verifying for their functional test. The parts for prototype tooling and low volume production tooling can also be done through this technique. We also find applications in making fixtures and tool design and production of tooling. Moreover, this technique is well suited for manufacturing of dental implants and medical devices also. Thank you. You can contact me at Naveen kalal@canaraengineering.in.